doubt. We just sitting in the corner, life live it out. No, them Fender girls don't understand it all, yeah. Ain't no hesitate, we just make it pay. Paint them cushions in those corners, no it isn't safe. But for my sake, will you save it all? Cause you'll do the same to my heart, yeah. Late model princess got me going crazy. Yeah, she got them wings and never wing it down. Late model princess, yeah, she makes me listen when they're dirty. Yeah, they got you hot and bottom. Late model princess, yeah. Oh man, with that body riding. Late model princess, yeah. See, I like the day and you know what you are, I know what I am. You a little late model star, and I'm a spring come in. You float the middle size, I'ma take your time and blow it. I'm a little bit of ghetto with that, send it then you'll know it. And I gotta get the going now, gotta catch me that eye. My mode is always fly to die. It's all this sees the moment's time, but while the clock keeps ticking by, you keep on talking on my mind. I'm contemplating situations where you could be all of mine, cause you're that late model princess, got me going crazy. Yeah, she got them wings and never wing it down. Late model princess, yeah, she makes me listen when they're dirty. Yeah, they got you hot and bottom. Late model princess, yeah. Oh man, with that body riding. Late model princess, yeah. My late model, will you come and see me? Oh, one more time. Late model princess got me going crazy. Yeah, she got them wings and never wing it down. Late model princess, yeah, she makes me listen when they're dirty. Yeah, they got it hot and bottom. Late model princess, yeah. Oh man, with that body riding. Late model princess, yeah. Oh, yeah. We can ride high, we can ride low. We can ride anywhere we need to go. We can ride all night up to the morning, as long as we make the show. We can be the best or we can be the worst. We can be the best thing you ever heard. With the motor singing and the grandstands ringing, it's hard to put it all in words. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and handsome. Ain't telling you what's right or wrong or what to choose. Hey, but this is how we do. This is how we do. Out on the dirt ovals we play, life in the bright lights with no shade. So letting her go, letting her rip, letting her fly, tossing her in sideways, living the life, letting her ride, outside, winning to die. Cross her up on the cushion, crossing the line, cause some drama and some bullshit they didn't like. And if they don't like the mood, then we're ready to fly. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and handsome. Ain't telling you what's right or wrong or what to choose. ready. Rip. Praying to God, ready to rip. On my high, ready to rip. With the armor, ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip.
Well, oh well. Well, oh well. Well, we are here. Oh my, we are here, ladies and gentlemen. We are sitting in the water. Yeah, Branto bang. They ain't name, but the engine didn't work. Cars crash one another. Oh my. Here we go. It is on, ladies and gentlemen. It is on. Are you ready to rip? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Some of you are, some of you ain't. It doesn't really damn matter if you are or you ain't. Hold on. Does the chat have live lights on it? Hold on. We got to put some live chat video up here. Hold on. Where's the chat? The chat got, y'all have to have some ready to rip as well, right? Hold on. That's not even right. Hold on. That's not even right. The chat deserves some ready to rip as well. There you go. The chat, look at you. You're all shined up real nice, turning sideways. Any update on the Bud interview? Is Broke Joe taking it well? He's going crazy. He can't handle himself. 6 minutes in commercial. I tried to change the commercial deal. I tried to make it to where it was 12 minutes separation. Oh my. Oh my, what are we doing? What are we doing here? This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh my. Let's turn the lights off of y'all. Those lights are all sparkly and stuff. Look at them. Turn that off. We are here today, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. We have not started our direction towards Canada. Not sure if that's going to happen just yet. We're trying to see. We're waiting on a few things. Hopefully some big announcements coming here very soon for the show. Hoping to have a huge, oh my, big, huge one. We can't say huge announcement here very soon for the show. Big partner that we are going to be announcing here soon that is jumping on. You know, believe it or not, you know, this partner was like, man, Chaz, you know, I see these other shows and they're great, Chaz. They're great for people in the sport and who want information and all this insight stuff. But as far as expansion of the sport, Chaz, your show, I just think is what's going to grow the sport. I mean, he's like, you make people laugh, you do songs, you yell, you scream, and it's what's going to make the sport bigger. And we actually have testimony of that today. I had a little TikTok commenter. He says, I stumbled across the show when Tony Stewart was on. Now I watch every episode. I don't know anything about dirt racing, but you're making me interested. And I'm a Kyle Larson fan. That was a comment on our TikTok today. Just more validation here, more validation. The wild, crazy conspiracy theory, just talking stuff and speculation and bamming this and ha-ha and that. It works, surprisingly. Wow. Oh, my. It works better than 1970s, 80s, 90s journalism, which is so boring. I'm just kidding. It's not boring. It's great for those who are in it. Promotional purposes, though, whole nother game. Whole nother game in the promotional aspect of reaching new people. And speaking of reaching new people, do we go straight into the topic? What are y'all saying in the chat? I'm looking at your very rude comments already about Apple Watch jumping on board as a sponsor. Really? Really? Y'all are this watch situation now is changing the game. This watch situation, we had the wings, the watches, the helmets. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. Rico looked at his watch when he got out of the car. Oh, my God. Oh, any update on the Bud Kenning interview? Sorry, we just don't have time for it right now. Time, get it? But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, damn it, Rico. Why did the watch have to be seen? Wow. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. I got you a new fan this past weekend, Uncle Colin. Apparently so. The women at the bar. Colin went to the women at the bar, and somehow this random woman at the bar knew what Late Model Princess was. Apparently, the girl's daughter dances to Late Model Princess. It's one of her favorite songs, and it's Colin's. Are you surprised? Remember Tri-City 2023 White Flag? Oh, my God, he's bringing back the skeletons in the closet. Descovich is bringing up the skeletons. He's talking about 2023 Tri-City, where Rico was leading the race. White flag comes out, and Rico slows down the back straightaway because he thought it was the checker. They stopped the entire show. Kyle Larson comes to the front straightaway and says, listen here, you son of a bitches. Rico's winning this heat race. Put him back to the lead. Throw the caution. I mean, this is what happened. It's a Branto Banyan shirt. Branto Banyan shirt. Actually, it's a, let's see. It's a Kevin Nouse design shirt, actually. Funny enough, this is a Kevin Nouse design pit crew shirt. Ekman Dental Arts on there for Branto Banyan. Funny enough. Interesting. I didn't plan. I've been wearing this shirt all day. I didn't know that this scenario was going to occur. But anyways, we're going to get into the topic that everybody wants to talk about. And for some reason, I don't know why, y'all want to talk about this. Y'all really want to talk about this. I want to talk about it too. Rico Abreu, of course, this is posted by High Limit Racing. Photo you see on your screen. Rico Abreu passes Justin Peck on the last lap for the win at the Kokomo Speedway. Chase Rodman reports that it was around 9:08 p.m. when the checkered flag flew. 9:08. Now, obviously, Tony Laporta went to interview him at 9:13, but we all know what 13 means, and we should know what 9 plus 13 equates. Oh, yeah, the double deuce. And we're talking about something like that, not the double douche. I didn't say anything about Dietrich. Double deuce 22. But this situation here that we witnessed tonight at the High Limit Series event, Santino Ferrucci there, Larry Foyt, starting at a certain time, ending at 9:08 with so much excitement on an actual good racetrack, probably one of the best racetracks in the world. New grandstands, although the grandstand, when they did the overhead, I was like, holy shit, there's stands missing. Why would you put in new stands, but they're not even the same size as the old ones? Did y'all not measure? I'm not sure what happened there. Hopefully they add more stands because I feel like this is a track that definitely deserves more stands. But you had all these things going on great at the Kokomo Speedway. And a great finish, amazing finish. Larson and Corey Day coming through the field. Larson with his tilt-a-wing, which I don't know who saw that. There was a tilt-a-wing out there. And this is potentially, I would say, the greatest single night displayment of sprint car racing that we have seen in history. I don't think that there has ever been a show ran with so much efficiency, with the Tony Laporta elegance and presentation, with the Chase Rodman perfect little spunk, with the driver interviews, the Justin Peck being in the booth, the fan zone stuff, the intense, action-packed racing from beginning to end. It wasn't this strung-out, boring crap that we see on our big half miles. And then once again, main event, cars all over the track. It wasn't a slick dust storm, but they're still able to pass due to the amazing track shape and banking of Kokomo. And then to end it all, you have, once again, one of the best finishes, which how can you get any better of a finish than the leader getting past on the final corner to win the race with one of the most popular, probably the most popular driver in the sport. I would say in the sport, even over Kyle. If you're only equating the dirt track sprint car fan base, Rico's probably more popular than Kyle. If you're only talking about our fan base, this was the perfect 100. The perfect game was pitched tonight by High Limit, and it has to make the Outlaws jealous, especially with the camaraderie with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It seemed everybody coming together. IndyCar drivers on hand, Grand Marshal flagman. The fireworks were even perfectly timed. Right at the checkered flag, Rico pops Peck at the line, fireworks going off. And additionally, even the local flair. You know, you had the local guy, the Justin Peck little man who has, came from that region and everything like that. It was perfect. Even though the local guy, you wanted him to win, it was okay because the superstar of all stars passed him and won the race. We obviously have to give a big shout out to Justin Peck. Once again, this is on the High Limit Racing Facebook page. For performance, obviously, they're split there with the TSR team and Donnie Schatz. Everybody writing the Ford off. Donnie Schatz progressively looking better. He has been running decently well with the Chevys. And Ford obviously, with the Shaver, as Peck has mentioned, has stepped up since Lakeside. And the Ford's looking good out there, ladies and gentlemen. It's not in the World of Outlaws up front, but it is in the High Limit Series, running up front, running with Rico, outrunning Brad. So Justin Peck and the Ford slowly coming together here with the Rudine 26 team. And obviously, Rudine's always been a blue paint scheme, so it even fits the traditional blue oval color scheme. So this is looking like a really good mixture here with Justin Peck and the Ford. Big Ford Energy. I think that should be the new shirt. I know they're talking about the Big Peck Energy, but a really good splice for a new design. Big Ford Energy now with Justin Peck here in the High Limit Series. And then you get to this guy, and this face says it all. Brad Sweet ran third, complimented the track, complimented the show. I hope people recognize how perfect this game was that High Limit played tonight. The absolute perfect show for sprint. If we could box what this was tonight and save it and put this out every single week, just hell, if you was doing Kokomo every week, they did Madhouse which was Bowman Gray every week. I'm not saying that, but these style of events, races, action, efficiency, show, storylines, prestige with the Indianapolis situation happening. This was the perfect game. Brad Sweet, obviously, one of the heads of the monster that put on this perfect game. And then, after this perfect game, I'm sitting there like, man, I'm going to go live tonight and talk about how dominant High Limit just performed, how they just set the tone for the new way of being in the sprint car racing, energy, flow racing, everything on board. This was it. The package, sell it. That's a sellable package that will grow bigger than any motorsport in the world, the package that was presented to the public tonight. And then, unfortunately, for me and the rest of the world, we had social media tonight. We had social media start messaging me and showing me this as I scroll This is Michael Walter, PA sprint car driver. Focusing on Rico Abreu, who is peaking at a watch in victory lane. And then another post of the rules here. Cellular wire satellite. It's very blurry here. That's the problem. And or device, can't be on the driver's person or anything like that. That's actually horrible. God, Michael, come on now. Of course, more pictures and videos being sent in. You got this one going extremely slow-mo, making sure everyone online sees Rico pull up his sleeve and look at a watch. Now, and here's a little bit better of a non-blurred out picture of the rules. Cellular, satellite, and or Wi-Fi devices in or attached to the race vehicle or the driver's person will not be permitted. No cellular phones or smartwatches are permitted at any time. And so you have people who have lost their mind over this scenario, as we'll exit this out, and basically destroying the perfect night. The perfect night has to come with controversy, does it not? The rules are the rules. It is very visual. Of course, we have had our smartwatch issues here in the past. The 2023 World of Outlaw event at the Silver Dollar Speedway, where Kyle Larson gets out of his car and has a watch. Everybody can see it. We even zoom in on the time, which verified the watch was running. We also looked up the brand of the watch to verify it can send and receive text messages. We did all this proof, and it didn't matter. It's Kyle. He doesn't need it. Who cares? It's fine. Same can be said here. It's Rico. Who cares? It's fine. It could be a Fitbit, which once again, Fitbits, if you don't know, you can activate text messages easily. How to receive messages and send replies from your Fitbit. And once again, for those who still don't understand how this is possible or utilized, you do not need to read any messages to be signaled with these watches. These watches are, as they're going to describe probably, heart rate monitors. Do you know how it reads your heart rate? It is strapped on your wrist where your veins that pump the blood right now for everybody watching, hopefully, that goes to your heart, and it monitors that rate. So if you ever have one of these watches, there's this mode called vibrate. And no matter how much a sprint car is vibrating, you at least get used to the motion of that vibration. And an odd vibration, as we hear drivers say all the time, we can, how these NASCAR guys, there's a weird vibration. There's this vibration. How can a guy tell that he's mud packed his wheel? There's a little different of a vibration. So you don't necessarily have to read these messages. All you have to do is send, say the driver's running the top side of the track. You just have to code it. Hey, if we message you and it starts vibrating, change lanes. You could even code it to one vibration or single vibration to multiple over and over vibrations for several different reasons if you want to be smart about it. Now, at the end of the day, the problem with this scenario here, and it's almost like, and I said it the other week, I actually got a phone call today. The problem with this is they don't care. Okay? Michael Walter, if that's you getting out of victory lane with a watch on, Are you going to be in trouble? Ask Jeff Halligan how that works out. Some people, they don't care. And some people, they do. Whether that's wings, helmets, titanium rods, or watches, in my opinion, based on the information I have gathered, there's certain business decisions being handled in the tech area more so than fair ones. This is why I'm advocating for outlaw rules. Fuck it. Make sure the safety's right, but tire doping, boxes, all this other watches, who cares? Throw the fucking rule book out. And I said that last week when we were doing our show about the helmets. I actually got a phone call today from a very highly ranked person in the sprint car racing world who said, Chaz, I was just listening to your show about the helmets and the rules and everybody calling everybody a cheater. And man, I got to give it to you. That is exactly right. And he said he ended up saying the same thing at the end of the conversation. Man, I'll tell you what, one day I'm going to get to a point where I ain't got to worry about XYZ, and I'm going to get on your show and I'm going to tell it all. And that's what I hear from about everybody. One day I'm going to tell it all. So this is why I say, and I'm pretty much done with this topic. This isn't a topic to me anymore. I literally commented on the Michael Walter post, who once again, a racer in the PA area. They're tagging Danny Dietrich and Dirt Tracker. It's simple. It's simple. As I put here, they don't care. They don't. They don't. Is Rico getting signaled for lines on the track with vibrations on his veins of his body? I don't care. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. Does it matter? Rico's got a watch. This guy's tired open. That guy's MSD boxing. This guy's got the rods. This guy's got the wings. Who gives a fuck? I don't. Oh, this guy's got the helmet. I mean, we're on two different forms of communication. Oh, well, you can't do two different receivers. Motherfucker, they had walkie-talkies in the 1980s. Y'all act like we're trying to talk to these drivers across, two football fields. These are quarter-mile to half-mile racetracks. If they knew how to communicate with walkie-talkies in the 1980s from a quarter mile away, I'm sure somebody can figure it out without having to use a proper radio or hijack a receiver. But regardless, I don't care. I think this scenario has destroyed what I thought was one of the best high limit sprint car, not just about, destroyed one of this whole thing that's just taken over Facebook already. It's only been an hour and a half or so, 2 hours since the end of the race. This has destroyed potentially the best sprint car event we have ever seen to date. On all boxes, this scenario here with the watch. And I just don't know why y'all care. I could raise hell about a helmet with two-way communication, but what also did I say in that video about the helmet? I said, who cares? It doesn't matter. Y'all think the high limit's going to take the 24 out of the series, DQ them and suspend them for 2 weeks? Y'all think that's happening? You think they're going to do that to the 2 car on the Outlaw Tour for any particular reason, or the 41 or the 18 or anybody? These are business decisions. Like I said, Michael Walter, you're worried about it. Okay, go ask Halligan how it works out. Or they could just take the watches off, which is what I was advocating for 2 years ago, and leave no mind to rest. Y'all need to know your heart rate. Well, get out of the car and then put something on and see where you're at. Some people said that I saw some comments that said this is a medical, there's a medical waivery or some type of thing that Rico can have this heartbeat or heart detector if that's what it is. And once again, we've documented how these heart rate monitors can send and receive text just like the Fitbits, just like the Garmin that Kyle had on. They can still have this two-way communication capability. Is somebody walking up to these cars and, hey, man, you got a heart rate monitor on? Can I check it to see if Bluetooth or Wi-Fi is on? Or can I make sure it's deactivated, that airplane mode's on or something? Is anybody going over there and double checking that, or are they just taking their word for it? Now, once again, I don't really think that this played a factor tonight. It probably didn't play a factor for Kyle, but it's the optics of the scenario. And if there is some kind of medical waiver or reason that Rico can wear one versus everyone else, okay, then fine. Then that needs to be known so that the optics don't get amplified to this degree. Because it's ruined potentially the best race night in sprint car history, which is what I thought I was coming on here to talk about. But now I'm dealing with this. I mean, once again, I think everybody's cheating. Once again, business decisions are happening in the tech area way more than fair, honest ones. And especially now you have this competing series scenario, business decisions are going to ramp up. In my opinion. But I don't, once again, I don't know. I don't know. Is something happening here? I don't know. I'm done caring about the fairness on the racetrack. That's where I'm at. I'm done caring about it. Let's go outlaw. Fuck it. Watches, helmets. Once again, only thing you need to worry about is safety, which we may be having the guy on from the Chasm seating system on the show here coming up very soon, which could be a very interesting discussion to talk about that aspect of the sport. Because, hey, maybe if we stopped giving attention to this stuff that is so, I guess, underground known that certain guys are getting to do X, Y, Z and blah, 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 and focused on safety elements, then maybe at least we can make some progression. Because this stuff's just seemingly holding the sport back, which is why I say just fuck it, open the rules up. Let it happen. Because it obviously isn't going to be maintained. It ain't going to be maintained. The 24 is not good. I had somebody text me. This is a car owner. Car owner texted me. This right here. He said, not that it would happen, but Peck should protest Rico. By the rule book, they would have to DQ him. Think that ever is going to fucking happen? You think Justin Peck's about to protest? And then Rico or they say, oh, well, it was just a heart rate monitor. What are you worried about? And then the answer is yes or no, or is it there's a watch on the guy while he's in the car? Is it black and white, or is it 50 Shades of Gray? Anyway, I don't know what the chat's going to say. I just don't think it's a deal. I just don't think it's a deal. Justin Peck ran a dumbass line. That's why he lost. I mean, I thought Rico's explanation was perfect as to why Justin Peck lost. I thought it was perfect. He got caught up in traffic. I thought the outside in 3 and 4 really came in strong there in the last 5 to 8, 10 laps. And I thought that Rico found that, and he could see it was faster than Peck rolling that outside like he was. Not the outside where they were like Corey Day in it. They were going up above the cushion, entering and kind of diamonding off, but that straight up just old school Kokomo John Stambro rip the lip type of outside line was working extremely well there in the last 5 to 10 laps. Why have a rule book? I think that is a question that a lot of people are saying, and they're getting either mad about it, like I have been frustrated about it, and like where I'm at right now. Throw the son of a bitch away. Just throw it away. There's no reason to even have it. Why? Why have it? I once again, I still think this was like one of the best sprint car races of the year. Y'all can keep saying no, it ain't, but I thought it was. We also had that crazy Larson wing. I'm not sure who saw that. I can't find it right now. Somebody texted it or messaged it to me. But one of the sideboards was angled. Somebody's trying to cry about that. Look, once again, I'm just, I mean, not upset, but I'm just done with the rules and the fairness and all this. It's over. And it happens not only in the national series, but it happens across the board, guys, based on who you are at your local track. I had somebody call me today saying, did you see how quick Caleb Johnson had his helmet taken away at Huset's? They're doing something. I had somebody from Knoxville, or a couple people from Knoxville, saying, can you believe they gave Austin McCarl his spot back when his sideboard flew off the car and landed on the track and caused a caution? He should have went to the back for causing a caution. It's obviously his debris. If it's somebody else, maybe that matter. I don't know. This is happening from the bottom to the top. This is happening from the bottom to the top. So y'all are saying, well, rules are involved to keep the fairness of the sport and all these things. And if you try to open it up, then the local racer's screwed. Oh, okay. Well, there's XYZ example on that, on how it's still happening on your local divisions. Why was the Kokomo race so good? The Kokomo race was so good because it happened efficiently and fast. It had presentation correct. It had an amazing racing surface that was hooked up, didn't go dusty, multiple grooves, premier drivers that were racing back and forth, excellent action throughout the field, drivers coming from the back in the main event. You had Santino Ferrucci and Larry Foyt there. You had the prestige of the Indianapolis 500 in the facility. You had packed front and back grandstands, even though they need to figure the grandstand scenario out. And not only did you have drivers coming from the back, you had a good B main that was competitive as well. You had Larson and Corey Day coming through the field, but still getting held up, showing the strength of the rest of the drivers in the field. And then you also had a really good cat and mouse game through traffic between Justin Peck and Rico Abreu. Justin Peck, the local guy trying to win his first race of the year in a Ford. Rico Abreu, the biggest name in the sport of sprint car racing. And you had a last lap pass on the outside to the checkered flag by the most popular driver in the sport. Right on time, the fireworks are blowing up and going off. Additionally, you had Tony Laporta with this premiere presentation that is just the best commentator in the sport right now for setting up intros and outros and segues. Just amazing. And Chase Rodman's right there with them. It just works perfectly. It was the greatest night of sprint car racing ever. If you could box that up, all the action, not big half-mile spread out races and tracks that rubber down 10 laps in like we saw last night, the absolute perfect night of sprint car racing, action-packed, the names, the build-up, the presentation, the racing, absolutely perfect. You even had the Driven to Save Lives. Thank you for making me forget that. The Driven to Save Lives scenario, the perfect timing. They checkered flagged it before it even went completely dark. It was dusk there. The lights barely came on. The amount of time it took to do the race. This was the perfect night for sprint car racing that will grow it, that will make it bigger than NASCAR. If you could do it, if you could replicate what you did today over and over and over every single week, then you got a product that could take over anything, because that was entertainment at its best, packaged perfectly. And yeah, it didn't go all night. Sorry, you hardcore race fans. All night long racing action isn't all that it's really cooked up to be when you're not a hardcore race fan. And you don't need an excuse to get slop drunk. So you just want to sit there and drink beers for 4 hours and get wasted to the point you forget you got to go to work Monday. So regardless, the rubber dome. Now, if they went sprint cars to the dome, that was really good. That was really good. If that was to ever happen. We're going to open up the phone lines. I'm sure that people have something they want to say about this. I'm sure there's people who want to talk about this situation. We're not going to have them open for too long. We are 40 minutes into the show. But let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, right there. Let's hear it. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Rico has not texted, so we are not going to be having him on. But the number is on the screen, 423-616-7673. Should we put the headphones on so we can get real nice and intimate with our callers? This could be interesting. Let's see here. Should put our headphones on. We have unknown number. Unknown numbers get deleted immediately because we've been having prank callers here recently. We're not going to be taking that anymore. And if we do have prank callers, we will just shut the show down again. But 423-616-7673. Once again, unknown numbers are being declined. We'll go back to the chat until we get some numbers to call in. Let's see here. Also, now they're spamming. The unknown numbers are spamming the call in so that we can't get a call in. Interesting. Well, maybe that's just going to be it for the show. I mean, that's pretty much all I had to say. We'll just go back to the chat then and read the chat. No, let me see. Maybe we can get somebody on because, yeah, obviously that's not going to work. They're spamming the call-in number, so we can't accept any calls. That's fine. Let's see here. Can we get somebody in? Just screen the call, chats. Well, I think we got one in. We got a legitimate number potentially here. Let's see what happens. Hello, are you there?
Hello?
Who is this? Where are you from?
Chaz?
Yes.
Hello?
Can you not hear me? We're speaking.
Can you hear me, Chaz?
Yes. You might have to turn the show off and listen to your phone.
It's not accepting?
Oh, my God. Okay. Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Call Broke Joe. I don't think Broke Joe wants to talk. I mean, I don't know if this guy's got like his a show going and he's trying to listen to the show for me to talk back to him, but that's not technically how it works. Or he needs to figure out how to properly hear or something like that. Hello. Okay, yeah, we are here. I'm making sure that my settings are correct. We still got the chat on the screen. We'll still be looking at that and recall. And I don't know. Broke Joe probably won't answer, guys. Broke Joe's, I think, kind of emotionally damaged right now. Calling a number back. If you can get through, we'll call the number back. If you can't, you can't. But oh yeah, that would be the right thing to do. Just ban the watches altogether. That's how it would work. Hello, or did you mean to call, sir? Who's this calling? 419. This is a Chaz. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hold on, I can barely hear you.
Okay. What's your name? Where are you from? Sorry. Okay, never mind. I guess this is how this is going to go. You mentioned someone pointing out Larson's wing. His right side panel was mounted with the front of the panel mounted lower than the rear. Nothing crazy, but was noticeable. Yeah, and I don't think that was illegal technically. There are some variances and things you can do with the wing. So that's still possible. You can still do those things, but it's kind of not as broad as you should be allowed, or you could be allowed to do. We got another one. Hello, can you hear us? I can. Can you hear me or no?
I have to have it on a little bit because for some weird reason when I'm calling you right now, I have to have the TV on a little bit to hear what you're saying because it's not coming through on the phone.
How is that possible? That's never happened on the show before. How is that possible? And we're not going to do it completely then. Sorry. Got to try something else. You got to figure out your phone. Yeah, that's odd. The other guy could hear me. He just said it was pretty low. But anyways, we'll keep reading the comments. Maybe this whole call-in thing isn't going to work. It can't be the headphones. They're saying they can't hear me. So the microphone is perfectly fine. I mean, we could double check it. Let's see here. 222. It's possible. Maybe that's it. Maybe it is on my end. Let's see here. Try it one more time. We'll give 419. Or no, we'll give, what was that one that just called? I think that's it. Hold on. I think we got it. I think we potentially have it set up.
Yes.
Are you there? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, bro.
All right. What's up? What's up? What do you want to talk about?
Hey, dude, I'm sorry. I wasn't actually trying to spam call. I really couldn't hear you.
No. You're
Over
good.
on the
You're good.
phone.
You're good. And I think it was on my side. I had the mic was unplugged before I went live, and I think the system still recognized the other phone or microphone that is plugged in. So it was my fault. The unknown numbers calling over and over, those are spammers, but continue.
Yeah, I just didn't want you thinking that I was spamming, but yeah, so I was just bringing up, I know it's a little off topic, but so what happened is I met that girl on Facebook dating, showed her your songs, and now her daughter's obsessed with the songs. It wasn't I met the girl at the bar and she had heard the song before. It was I showed her the songs.
Okay. Well, that's great. Did you watch any of the show or races tonight?
I didn't even know they were going on until I got on here, and I thought you were showing Friday's races because I know Rico went on Friday too.
Okay.
That's
Then
what
we're
I'm
gonna.
saying.
I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but we're gonna have to go to another caller, Colin. I'm sorry about that.
I know. I just wanted to tell everyone. I was pretty happy. So I was wearing my late model princess shirt and it got me laid. So
The late
we have
model
to-
princess shirts can do that. There's a lot of shirts on the site, longlivetochaz.com, that can get you laid. For sure.
Yeah, and I just want everyone to know that they buy them, they could potentially get laid too instead of just hanging out with dudes all the time.
This is true. Hanging out with dudes and getting drunk. You can buy a late model
Yeah.
princess shirt or a Ray-Von. You never know. It's possible. But
All
anyway.
right, bud. Well, just wanted to make sure everyone knew that I got laid because of the shirt. But
Okay.
I will talk to you later, bro.
Alrighty, thank you. Thanks for your purchase.
Bye-bye.
You never know what's going to happen on the show, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, oh God. Now they're back to spamming, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. Let's see if we can get another one in. So Texter actually messaged the show and we'll call you back, I guess, is how we're going to do that due to the spammers of Brian Hubert. Can you hear me this time, sir?
I can, sir.
All right, good. Who's this? Where are you from?
I'm Dustin in West Virginia.
Okay, so did you watch the race tonight? You paying attention to all this craziness? What's going on?
I did. I've been meaning to call you for a couple of times for a minute now, but I want to talk about why you hate Northwest Ohio sprint car racing.
Northwest Ohio. Why? Where did you get this from?
The way you, I mean, I heard you.
I mean, I went to
talk to Rich Farmer
Attica.
or whatever.
Yeah. I went to Attica's great. I mean, There's Attica's good. I've always wanted to go to Fremont. Well, I don't know where this is coming from, but continue. This is interesting.
You just kind of always rip on the on Ohio. You call the All Stars the No Stars.
That's what everyone says. I was referencing to what everyone was saying. Continue.
I mean, I get it, but they put on a good show.
Right.
Outlaws don't put on a good show, do they?
I think it's the degree of competition that makes the outlaw shows kind of boring. I think the outlaw shows. I think a lot of these shows are based on track configuration, size, and condition. I mean, look at Kokomo. You could put any sprint car series on that track, and it's going to race good. Same thing could be said for Attica.
No, I agree.
I don't know if we could say that about Skyline, though.
You're probably right. But, I mean, when's the last time Eldora put on a good, Kings Royal that you said, oh, my God, that's the best race I've ever seen in my life?
I think Kings Royals are always good. The one where Shots won was kind of dumb, but I think all the other ones are good, and I think that's because the Kings Royal format. The problem with the Outlaws, honestly, is their format. I think they need to invert like High Limit does. I think that, to get off topic just a little bit, I think that the High Limit wheel is so much more entertaining than that stupid NOS bottle draw to find out your dash lineup. And I think that their little 4-car invert makes it exciting in their heat races as well. So I think that there's a lot of big differences in format that makes certain races good and certain races bad. I think even Dirt Tracker hit on, Larson runs so much better against the Outlaws than he has against High Limit, but that also has to do with the fact that you line straight up in the Outlaws. You qualify good, you start up front, you finish, you draw well, and you race. And High Limit, even though if you qualify the best, like you got to be top 4 to be guaranteed to lock in qualifying, to be locked into the dash. Then you still have to transfer. If you qualify 5th or 6th, you're not guaranteed shit. I mean, and you're still starting 3rd or 2nd, and you have to win to make it into that dash. I think that little 4-car invert that High Limit has definitely makes it more difficult for the elite teams to just dominate and win, personally.
No, it makes a huge difference.
So,
and the heat racing is better.
The heat racing is better. I think the whole show's better. And once again, the wheel, I know everybody joked and made fun of it, but that wheel is way better than any draw they got out there right now.
No, anything could happen on that thing.
So are you going to Fremont then? Although you're from West Virginia, you got a whole drive to even get. See, a lot of people hate the area you're from. They say Southwest is all junk. Junk tracks, junk racing, and Northwest is where it's at.
No, I'm from Northwest Ohio, but I moved to West Virginia to work in the oil field a couple years ago. But
so you know what I'm
stuck
saying.
in late model country as a 410 fan, and it's terrible. I'm in Tyler Carpenter country.
Yeah, you are. You are in Tyler Carpenter country. Muskegon puts on some good shows, but they don't get no premier events. Atomic's your direction.
No. I'm right outside of Parkersburg.
Right. Yeah. So you're out of the loop. You'd be better off going to Sharon and stuff. That's probably closer than Attica, ain't it?
No, Attica's closer than Fremont is, but
what about Sharon?
We're right next to Tyler County Speedway.
Okay. Aren't you closer though to like Lernerville and stuff?
It's a haul, but it's closer than Atomic.
Okay. Yeah. Well, anything else you want to get me at, or are you going to go to the High Limit races at Fremont, or?
I would love to go, but I'm sure they're going to put on a good show come Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah, we've got this midweek stuff full
tonight
force.
Was a great show, and then 2 weekends ago when the Water Outlaws were at a quarter-mile track, that was entertaining.
Thoughts on this watch scenario? It's still blowing up all over. People are still texting me and snapping. I really just think throw the rule book out. Whether it's watches, helmets, wings, MSD boxes, crank triggers, tires, it just doesn't matter anymore. And it trickles down even to the local level.
If you want to fix it, go back to 97 rules. Let them have radios.
I don't think we should have communication with the driver, but I just don't.
But I mean, that's the only way to fix it, though. Really, they're just going to keep cheating.
I mean, I still say just like not wear it. It's the optics of the scenario. You know, I mean, yeah, we know Kyle Larson's great. He don't need it. Well, then don't wear it. You know that's why the title of the show is like, you know, Rico takes win it or wear it to new levels because he wins it and wears it. You know, so it's like I get that you don't have to. So then why? Just to show that you get special treatment or to show y'all are different than everyone else? Like, it's just not good. I don't think.
I feel you.
I mean, you even have Parker Price Miller right now on Twitter. You know, if anyone thinks a driver wearing a smartwatch of any kind is actually using it for two-way communication needs to drive a race car one time, then get back with me on that theory.
You really think they can look at their wrist, though, as they're driving down?
I think it's all vibration-based. I mean, they can tell the vibration when they could say, "Oh, there's so much vibrations in the car." I'm not saying there's not vibrations in the car, but you can tell when a vibration is different than the car, or you could tell when the vibrations of the car change. That's how people could tell that their motors are going south. That's how people could tell they will pack the wheel or have a shock pad or anything. The vibrations of the car alter. So if you're telling me you could feel the vibrations of something that's happened exteriorly outside the driver's compartment, but you're trying to tell me you can't feel a vibration on your blood vessels of the heart rate monitor apparently that everyone's wearing, that's bullshit. That's a lie.
No, you're right.
So, I mean, it's just people cutting, and you're going to have these covering scenarios. You're always going to have covered scenarios where somebody's doing something, and this is the same thing that happened with Larson, where we documented it, showed it was on, showed it was running, showed the brand of the watch, showed that brand of watch could text and receive messages. It just didn't matter, though, and people came and defended it. And my only response was just don't wear it. It's in the book. If it don't matter, then let's just take this shit out. Why even say it's illegal if it's okay for some? Once again, the optics. Why? I just don't get it.
Just the top dogs get it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, I'll let you go, but if you ever want to come to West Virginia and hang out with Tyler Carpenter, hit me up.
Okay, we will do that.
All right, appreciate it, Chaz.
Thank you. Oh, my, oh, my. Looks like we got Dusty C from PA wanting to get in on this. Oh, no. Brian Carter is a douche. He was too embarrassed to give Kyle Larson the big gator. Wow. Wow, oh, wow. We are moving on to Dusty C. Is that Dusty C I hear on the other line or no?
It is Dusty C you hear on the other line. How you doing, brother?
No, how's it going? What did you want to call in and talk? We just had somebody call Brian Carter a douchebag because he was too embarrassed to give Kyle Larson the big gator at Volusia. Wow.
Was he supposed to?
I think I believe he has no, he gave it to the modified guy. Like the modified guy won it or something, I think, and then
okay.
he was supposed he would have probably given it to like David Gravel or something, but since Kyle won it, he didn't want his picture with him. I think that's what the guy's saying.
Well, I'll be damned. Well, I mean, I can't say I'm surprised about that. I mean, considering he's pretty much rivaling everything that they have to offer and challenging it.
Right.
It'd be kind of, it'd be kind of like, in monster truck terms, if, Gravedigger would show up to Bigfoot's event and Gravedigger wins,
Yeah, and they're all playing their parts. Once again, the Real American Beer sponsorship the Outlaws picked up is owned by a Flow Racing investor. So Flow is actually sponsoring the World of Outlaws, crazily enough, through the Tentacle system.
That's some wild shit.
So are they all just playing Triple H and Stone Cold right now? Because the controversy is obviously selling both sides,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not sure.
Anyways, what do you want to talk about? You probably wanted to talk about something else, I'm sure.
Yeah, a little bit, maybe not a whole lot. I was at work this evening, but I got home. I just caught the very tail end when Rico won, and then I hopped on and I saw some of the controversy with the whole thing with his wrist. But when I joined the video here, you were talking about how, certain things as far as like, what the evolution is going to look like when it comes to the cars and the tech and all of that. And one of my questions is, how much is too much tech? Because I think a lot of people would agree in chat where NASCAR, for example, the tech that they have as far as inspection goes is is extensive. Because a lot of us kind of, remember the Twisted Sister days where that type of creation, similar to the late model scene right now, all of these different cars, you can do so many different things to them and change the way they drive, where it's like, how far is too far with tech?
Well, and I think I firmly believe that late models is pulling the same shit as far as the tech area. I think there's business decisions happening in the tech area on both sides. Obviously, they went after Bobby Pierce last year on the outlaw side. But, I heard Bobby Pierce basically proved himself innocent. But they do want their examples every now and then, Think of, James McFadden, for instance, with a tire deal.
Yeah.
They do look at Aaron Reitzel with his deal.
Yeah, the whole chassis deal, yeah.
They want their examples. For some reason, they go after Roth every time. But they want their examples of we're doing it right. I referenced Jeff Halligan earlier. With wearing watches, because I believe that Michael Walters, he's a 410 guy out there at Port Royal, right?
I believe so.
Or in that area,
yeah.
I believe he raced 33 car, red 33. And I was saying,
he's that guy. Okay.
Yeah, I was saying, if you get out the car and you beat Brad Sweet and Rico and you got a watch on, well, you might get popped. But you're not. You're Jeff Halligan. So if you dope your tires, even though we pretty much kind of feel like a lot of people are doping tires and getting away with it, you're going to get popped. I think what you're saying, though, is over-regulation in the rule book. Look, that even the Twisted Sister era, they had people who were getting away with things legally. They were making business decisions as well in that era. Look at the business decision with the Jimmy Johnson roof flap. Look at the businesses. Hell, the T-Rex car, they basically said was illegal, but isn't illegal, and just told them not to bring the car back. And I think that the problem is right now that there's too many business decisions happening, and it's kind of too visible. Like this watch thing is too bad. The wing thing was close because we could kind of see what he was talking about and look at different wings and see that. Once again, it kind of went away when it's like everybody's doing it, so okay.
Well, here's the thing, though. So I was at the Outlaw race in Williams Grove on Saturday, and for hot laps and qualifying, you had Anthony Macri,
and Dietrich.
You had Danny Dietrich, and you had Hunter Schoenberg, all three of them running non-painted wings on their cars for hot laps and qualifying. Now, Hunter Schoenberg had graphics on, but he did not have his wing panels painted.
Right.
Which usually that car is painted. But yeah, Danny Dietrich, Anthony Macri, both of their top wings, they had no paint on it, just like Macri had the 39N JNS, Dietrich had Weikerts with the 48, nothing else on the wing. And then, of course, after qualifying, bam, then it's like it never happened. The wings are back to normal.
Well,
so it's almost like that whole wing deal is still not done. And it just seems kind of interesting. Now, listen, I'm not a hater on anybody, but like the whole thing with Danny Dietrich talking about wings, here he is fucking with wings, So,
well, and I kind of feel like that is somebody messaged me about that whole deal with Dietrich and them doing those wings. I feel like that's rich people being smart asses. Obviously Danny Dietrich has a part shop, and obviously Anthony Macri has all the concrete money in the world. So they could just do that just to be smart asses and garnish some attention. Now, I do think there is something to the Larson wing, and I said it when I reviewed it. Is when you're single car qualifying, you probably don't want that wing to bend much versus dirty air racing conditions. You probably want that wing to cut smooth through the wind, grab the wind as hard as it can on its own. And I was speculating. I've had a few car people, or never mind. I can't name their names, but they were like, "Hey, that might be what they're actually doing." It makes sense because in a single car qualifying scenario, you ain't worried about dirty air. You ain't worried about working off the back of another car. And you don't want too much drag. You want to be able to set the drag to where you want it, And that's with a harder structure of a wing without the graphics to keep the weight the same. When it gets into racing conditions, though, you probably, you want your regular graphics on there. You want something that flexes more because you're running in a pack, for instance. So is that what they were doing and why they did it? Who knows? I personally think it was just rich people being smart asses. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Which
No, it
everybody
could be.
driving 410 sprint cars is rich compared to the rest of us. Let's just say that out of the fucking way.
Yeah. No,
Even if you're a
because,
local team,
yeah,
fine, you're not a millionaire. Okay, you only have 500,000 for your operation. You're so poor. Whatever.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because if we all had the money, we would all do it. So.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's also interesting too. You brought up earlier, mentioned it about the tire doping too. Because like, thing is, I race RC cars a lot, and then I know there was controversy with Simple Green being like something that could soften tires. I'll tell you this: with RC racing, no matter the different compound tires we got for RC off road, dude, it works. We've used it for years, used it for decades. We don't use just to clean tires. It makes them stickier, and it makes the rubber a little bit softer. We have other kind of additives. Sometimes we do some crazy shit, but like there are a lot of times where everyone and their mother, at least that little, use Simple Green to soften up tires, especially when you first get them.
Well, I heard with sprint car tires, you have to kind of do like a fake heat cycle. Like you got to get them hot, and then you got to cool them down. You get them hot and cool them down, temperature wise, not actually like running it like you would on the track, but adding heat, taking heat away, and that's supposed to make it pass or whatever as well.
Right.
Because I guess it's supposed to lift it or something like that, to where by the end of the night it's peeled off, it's off the tire. But once again, how many tire samples are we seeing being taken? Honestly, I mean,
I can't think of any in particular, but I'm also not really looking for that either. So I haven't heard nothing.
I'm sure there are some being taken every now and then. They could be taken every week. But we've also had tech directors coming out saying, yeah, this guy's box was hot and we can't do nothing about it, or this, that, and the other. And I've heard from the late model tech directors that at one point, the world or the big events at Eldora, some guys were just taking them and then trashing them. They weren't even sending them in. They just wanted it to look fair, so that it would scare people to not do it. So, I mean, the tech issue, I suggested third-party teching, although that would cost money, and the sport don't have the money to do it right. You can't have vested interests doing the teching because there's too many business decisions in these scenarios. If you're the World of Outlaws, you cannot DQ the 2-car. Now, you might need to save your championship battle. Place tariffs on them, ban them for a week or something. I mean, because their championship is over. They ain't going to beat David. Now, maybe if he gets caught doing something, maybe they need to have a private meeting with David or something. I don't know. Let's do this. We need to save our season. But, I mean, besides that, I don't think they're going to, especially in this competitive era, why are you going to risk losing a team to the other series, especially if you're the Outlaws and that franchise idea is out there and it's so alluring for the teams you already have? Like, you're not gonna risk losing the 2, the 41, the 18, the 17, these marquee teams, whether they're cheating or not. You're not gonna do that. And the same could be said. If you're high limit, are you gonna lose Rico? Rico's their only fucking draw right now when Kyle's not there. Yeah. You think about it. Brad Sweet ain't no fan fucking favorite. People hate that sumbitch for some reason. We had to make a joke about ginger kitties and shit to make them kind of funny. I mean,
Rico, to make it relevant. Yeah.
Right, Rico is their only fucking draw until they go to PA, and then you might have Marks get some fans or something. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Marks has a solid crowd here. For some reason, Rico does. I don't understand the whole thing behind that with Rico.
Well, he made ventures
you're right,
out there
about
for PA Speed Week a lot, but continue, sorry.
That is true. That is right. I forgot about that because a couple years ago, he was here. Because I didn't remember, of course, when Donnie Schatz was in his kind of prime, when he was winning his championship after championship, kind of stint, and everyone and their mother in Pennsylvania, it was always just straight hate. Like, you know what? You have a Donnie Schatz shirt, F you. You're getting beer pour on you. And then, when Brad Sweet kind of became that guy with the Outlaws, it's like nobody cared. It's like, where's the Brad Sweet hate? It's like no one liked him, but no one hated him. It's almost like he's going through all of this, and he's, behind the curtain. It's kind of strange.
Well, and
he's not getting as much attention.
Right, and at the same time, even now, he's kind of hated in the outlaw pitting area or the outlaw regime for starting high limit with Kyle. And obviously that was evident a little bit, or at least some shit talk. I don't know if it's hate from Cody, but, there was some shit talk towards him. But I don't know if the fan base really hates him. I don't know if the Outlaw fan base hates Brad Sweet. I think they hate Kyle Larson maybe a little more. I think they would blame Kyle Larson for the split. Because we all know that if Kyle's name wasn't attached to High Limit, it wasn't going to successfully split, Brad Sweet involved or not. You know,
Right,
so
right.
they're blaming, the fan bases are blaming Kyle for the split. They ain't really blaming Brad. Now the people behind the scenes are, because Brad was, you know, probably active in their pitting area recruiting people there before the year started. You know, but his last year on the tour is what I mean by that. Like, he was probably over there asking some teams, do y'all want to come with us? We're starting a series next year, all that, blah, blah, blah. So the pitting area might hate him, but outside, I really don't think the general public hates Brad Sweet.
No, I don't think they do either.
He never became a villain. He never was a star. It's a weird thing, you know.
Yeah, because it's like, I know last year around the Tusky, like, people were giving Brad Sweet some hate because Port Royal shared a post when Brad Sweet said something about, I love coming to Pennsylvania and taking their money, but it's like, that quote that they shared was from April of 2024, and it's like at the end of 2024 they bring it up, and then it gets the fans all like, you know, riled up and crazy, and it's like, he said this months ago, guys. Like, this wasn't recent. Right. And then after that, though, like when Brad Sweet, he won like the one race, and then after that, like during like one of the heat races, this car, you know, his car came to a stop during a heat race, and everybody was cheering to boom off the track, and I'm just kind of like, it's interesting how all they had to do was make one post, and then everybody was hating him for the weekend, you know?
Right.
Like, it's interesting. I don't know. I just thought that it was kind of weird how like he got that attention, just pay him right away. So it was weird. But,
it was weird. So.
But anyways, yeah, it's about all that I got. I was just mainly curious though about the whole thing with the cars and the inspection in particular, what your thoughts were on that. So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel about it. So
yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Anything else?
All right, yeah, I'm probably good here. Yeah, we'll get somebody else in here for sure. Keep the show going.
Okay, we'll keep it going then.
All right. Yep. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Thanks for calling in. That was Dusty C from Pennsylvania. We had somebody say that a 410 owner wants to call in. Throw the number up again. I don't want to throw the number up. We're getting so many spam calls. I said, give me the number. Who is it? Flow 57. Rico does a good job with social media and is a very likable guy. That's why he's a draw. There's a lot of aspects. You know, Rico, what he did at Chili Bowl for years. Chili Bowl was, I would say, in the Rico era, Kyle era, those eras of the sport, Rico was a little more popular. Or midget racing was a little more popular then. I think what Rico did in midget racing back then was very likable, very status growing. I think that was a very big reason as to why Rico gained status in the sport, but also the social media stuff. He's even accredited his stature to his popularity, especially with the kids. It definitely makes him unique in a good way. I don't think in a bad way. And he wins. I mean, that's the number one thing with Rico that makes him likable is he has all these aspects, but he also can get out on that racetrack and win some of the biggest races. He can win the Chili Bowl. Which at the time he won it was, I think, a little more clout-driven than it is now. And I believe that added to the popularity and the surge and the rise. And we've seen him for a very long time. We've seen him racing. So I think it works all the way around. We will put the number back up if you want to call. Yes, the spam number is continuously trying to destroy the show, but we'll just let it keep on ringing in and ringing out. If you want to do what Dustin did, go ahead and text the show. You can text that number, and we will call you to avoid the onslaught of people. Chaz, do you like the dice roll with High Limit or think it's corny? I don't know. It's kind of grown on. I think they've done a really good job of filling in certain areas of downtime. You that's a real good thing. I think that the wheel does versus the draw as well. With the NOS Energy, you know, they draw the can with their weighted chips more than likely, and then they talk to the driver. But I think High Limit sets it up a little bit better with the spin of the wheel. It takes a little bit longer to do that. They have their preloaded questions for each driver, adds a spin to that. And then that also gives plenty of time for the C main to get ready or the B main to get ready. Cars that are knowing they're going to get into the B main. Hopefully, at that point, while they're doing that spin, the teams are making sure that the heat race cars are ready. I still think, or not the dash cars are ready. I still think you should have the cars who are in the dash on both series. I still think it's a very smart idea to stage the dash cars on the front straightaway, kind of big block modified style. And once they spin the wheel and they hit a number or whatever, and they go and get into their cars and they get ready and they push off right then and there after the dash draw or the spin of the wheel, and they do the dash. I think it would do a heck of a job for new fans who are at the track for the first time to identify the drivers with the cars, which is a big deal. Identifying the faces with a number and a brand and an identity, which the numbers in the cars are the brand and the identity of the driver. I think that's huge. I think they should be doing this on both sides. It would also make the show go a little bit faster, just because you ain't got to go all the way to the pits with the driver, push the cars out and push them off. You're putting the cars or the drivers in the car right there on the front straightaway, pushing the dash off, and the dash is done. And by the time that's over, your B main's rolling out, A main's right on deck. And I think that dice roll fits in perfectly right there after that B main to give adequate time for the dash drivers to turn their cars around while the B's going, and to get the B main drivers just a slight bit of time to do some quick last-second adjustments who have transferred from that B main to the A main. And I think that's why that dice roll works out pretty dang well, as pretty damn good as well. And High Limit is doing a good job at this. And I think you saw that once again tonight. I think it was the perfect game for a sprint car race. This was the best sprint car race in history tonight. It was perfect in all boxes checked, presentation, everything was just perfect. At least that's what I believe. It rolled smooth. I think the setup for the High Limit is set up perfectly. We did have a text saying that they loved the show. They missed the race, though. See, for this guy's from California. He obviously the race starts a little lesser or a little earlier for them. I believe the broadcast went green at 5, so that would have been California 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock is when the broadcast went live in California. Just got a little update. Apparently, we reached 2 million people on Google Maps in the month of April. So that's some good things. Once again, guys, if y'all want to go to the website, Long Live the Chaz, you can get that late model Princess shirt that is out there. We got a caller. Let's see if it's a spammer or not. Hello, are you there? Yes. Okay, we got you. Where are you? What's your name? Where are you from?
This is David from Colorado.
Oh, no, from Colorado. So you watch a lot of streaming, I'm assuming, out there.
Yeah, I'm in no man's land. I think this is the third time I've talked to you.
Okay, what's up? What do you want to talk about?
I forget the guy's name you had on before from PA.
Yeah, I think it was Dusty.
You guys were talking about Brad Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking hate Brad Sweet.
Okay, so why do you hate Brad Sweet?
Because I hate High Limit, and I hate what they did to sprint car racing.
Now,
Splitting it up.
Why do you blame Brad Sweet more than Kyle? Because I think that's who the public should blame.
Combined. No, combined.
Okay, do you think High Limit happens
The World of Outlaws made Brad Sweet what he is.
Well, the World of Outlaws...
Well, what? They did.
The World of Outlaws...
They made his living. He won the championships. That was all because of the World of Outlaws.
Correct.
It's because of what he did. I'm not discrediting him for winning those championships with the World of Outlaws. But now I can do it better. My brother-in-law, he's got the power, and we're going to do this. And they split up the talent in sprint car racing, and it sucks. Yeah, this race is good. That race is good. You go back and forth. High Limit, Outlaws. This race sucked. That race sucked. This race was good. Well, just think about how good it would be if you had Rico and you had Brad and you had David and you had all those guys on one series.
Oh, I agree. It would be amazing. Now, you don't give any blame to the
Well, think of what it
Outlaws.
would do to the local racing too. It would make that better.
I
If
don't.
not everybody's going to be able to go out on the road.
I don't know if that's true. If anything benefited here, I think it was the local racing. To be honest,
As
in
far
a
as
way.
what, the winning
I
more
think you got
money?
more people bringing or building 410s because there's more national 410 events happening in these areas
Yeah,
now.
I would agree with that.
That's the only true benefit of it all. I think that the Outlaws, though, are responsible for the high limit becoming a
I
national
agree.
full-time series.
We've discussed this before. Yeah,
So, but I mean,
but I'm a never high limiter, man. Fuck them, hate them.
did you watch the race tonight?
Yeah, it was a good race, but like I was saying, 2 weeks from now you're going to be, oh, that was a great outlaw race, and that was a shitty outlaw race. It was a shitty high limit race. It was a good high limit race. This is just racing, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's all where they're racing and track conditions.
Yeah.
That's what puts on a good race.
Well, in the
And
Outlaws,
it was good tonight. I'm not denying that. It was good.
right. Well, and the Outlaws
good.
schedule does tend to go towards bigger established tracks and facilities, I guess.
Because they're the World of Outlaws.
Right. Well, I think they work on
You
a
get Chase Rodman saying Williams Grove's such a, I don't know why they go there so many times. The place sucks and doesn't put in good racing. Well, it's tradition. I mean, who wouldn't want to win a race at Williams Grove when you go high limit or any top sprint car driver?
Right.
Everybody wants to win at Williams Grove.
The National Open for sure.
Whatever, just at that track against the posse, crazy, technical, weird, fast, and one of a kind track. I mean, everybody wants to win there.
I'm not sure if we talked the last time whenever it was the franchise idea. Did you see was that out or have you reacted to that?
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna do whatever they can do to keep that series or try to make it the only series. I get it, yeah, we did, because we were talking about the World of Outlaws need to make a counter or they're going to be in trouble.
I think it's fair to say that.
But yeah, for sure. But I mean, I don't know. I can't envision where it's going down the road. Everybody talks about the challenge. You got to do a challenge series. And yeah, that would be cool, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. The Outlaws are never going to agree to that.
Why do you think so?
But I mean, I think just because it's the World of Outlaws and they've already kind of put it on the table, like we're not, they're being hard asses, which is probably wrong. Can hurt them in the long run. We're not going to deviate from what we have.
Right.
Or what we ever have had, we're the World of Outlaws. It's just the name, But, where high limit, in my opinion, is gaining is they're able to piggyback. They piggyback off of NASCAR. They piggyback off the World of Outlaws.
Yeah, they still do that. People underestimate how much their schedule is based around the premier outlaw events.
And NASCAR this year, yeah, absolutely. NASCAR is probably more to get a fan draw, but they have that ability,
Right.
And I mean, I'll be quite honest. I mean, I'm a high limit hater, but those guys have opportunity to run 4, maybe 5 more high paying races than the Outlaws do. The Outlaws don't even have that choice. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even saying just because they're hamstringed to only 4 races outside the World of Outlaws. Skagit, they're not going to Skagit, right? I don't even know where they are that weekend, but they're on the other side of the country.
Right, they're scheduled.
Where High Limit has scheduled their races around, okay, we're going to be there for High Bank. We're going to be there for Knoxville. we're going to be there for National Open. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it's just candy ass that those two guys, because who was there for Kyle Larson when he stepped on his dick and said the N-word? Where'd he go racing?
Yeah, he went dirt racing.
Outlaws.
He went dirt racing.
Yeah. I just think it's super cheesy. Those two did this to something that made not so much Kyle, but Brad Sweet, who made them what they are.
Well, I would still say that sprint car fans made Kyle as well, the cold trickle effect. So
I'm speaking more towards Brad.
I understand, right?
Brad Sweet is Brad Sweet because of the World of Outlaws,
Or you could say Casey Kane. And Casey Kane and Tony Stewart.
Who cares about Casey Kane?
Well, I'm just saying, without Casey Kane, Tony Stewart, and Stenhouse, the Outlaws probably wouldn't have had a tour much to speak of in the mid 2010s and 2000s.
You're
so they lived off the
NASCAR
NASCAR welfare, especially.
100%. Yeah, you're exactly right on that. And that's those guys know their roots,
Right.
I mean, Tony Stewart, he's never going to deny it's way funner to race sprint car than it is to race NASCAR.
Even he had his sidewaysness with the Outlaws, though. That's kind of why he bought the All-Stars and Eldora in a way, because they wouldn't let him sell T-shirts.
Sideways, though. He's always kept a car out there,
True.
If not two. Several years he had two cars there,
Right.
And I mean, look how much he respected him. I mean, when he started racing 410 wings, I mean, he didn't just jump to the Outlaws. He was running local shows and 360s and, and got to that level. Okay, now I can go out and run with these guys,
Right. And do you think the people who support High Limit to the degree they do is just big Kyle Larson fans more so than anything?
You know the answer to that.
I mean,
it's that and people that don't know the sport. And,
right.
Oh, I was over watching a NASCAR race and I heard about this shit, and now I'm over here at the dirt track tonight. And what kind of any kind of race fan that doesn't know what sprint car racing is, when you first show up, I mean, you know what it's like. Go stand down there close to the track and hot laps or something. It's gonna open your freaking eyes, right?
Right.
900 horsepower, the sound, the smell. Holy shit! See how deep they drive it into a corner, and then,
I do think that
the sprint car fan is born.
I do think that's potentially the biggest threat to the World of Outlaws is the idiocracy of society around us on what sprint cars or sprint car racing is. And I do think that that's the biggest threat with Larson's platforms to stifle new people into the sport, whether they're NASCAR fans or Logan Paul. That Absolutely. Is a big advantage.
I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
And the Outlaws have failed sprint car racing. If they've been in the lead, if for instance, if stock car racing isn't big or growing or become relevant, I'm blaming NASCAR because they're the sanctioning body representing stock car racing. And the same could be said for sprint car racing. A sprint car racing prior to the High Limit, or even how it is now, wasn't known by the general public. That's World of Outlaws' fault. It was their responsibility as the number one brand of sprint car racing to promote it to newer people. They failed.
But you got to figure how many years with the
failed?
World of Outlaws. We weren't in the same times as now with the social media and all the other bullshit.
Well,
you didn't know about sprint car racing at all unless you got Speed Sport or Open Wheel. The only way you knew about it.
Well, TNN.
It's a different era now, and you're right.
I think it's the Boundless Motorsports World Racing Group era. The Ted Johnson era, I think, did a very good job at that. The TNN eras and getting on TV. They say they lost a lot of money, but they don't understand how much it was actually a really good long-term investment to do all that.
Yep. I just, the air is different now. And you're right. They need to step up to the times for sure.
Well, maybe High Limit will make them do that, though, right? High Limit will force them to do that.
Well, they
or
already
they'll get run
have,
out of
right?
yeah, they'll get run out. So,
Yeah, they already have.
but I
They're
still,
running for $12,000 now. Ooh.
yeah, well, they're still, yeah, that's the bigger deal. You know, late models are 20,000 every night of the week, and 30 and 50 and 75, and
Right.
we're still over here celebrating 12.
For fender cars, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's true.
But yeah, that's this is my take, man. I'm still just bitter on it, just because, you know, if the progression would have stayed the same, you know.
I'm just surprised
you
you
talk
blame.
about-
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna. I'm just surprised a little bit that you're blaming Brad more than Kyle. I just think I think it couldn't be possible without Kyle.
It's both, man. It's both.
What about Flo? I think Flo had a big hand too, because they wanted a piece of that sprint car.
Streaming, right? That's the technology now.
Yeah, they
You
want.
know,
They
Ted
wanted
Johnson
to slice.
days, there was no streaming. There
Yeah.
was Diamond P Sports and live Knoxville Nationals on TNN. It was as big as it ever was, you know.
Yeah, Bristol and all that. Yep.
Right. Right. I mean, I think, I don't know. The people who have Flow that have it to watch whatever, stick and ball sports, or, you know, some of the wrestling or whatever it is. Do you think they really, you know, flip through there and see the race and oh, check this out? I mean, race fans are race fans, in my opinion.
Yeah, you got to put it a little more.
I don't want to watch cars go around in circles, no matter what kind of cars they are, you know.
You got to put it a little more mainstream. Now, what do you think about the potentiality here that this is all smokescreen bullshit and it's already under one umbrella? With the connection of the Real American Beer sponsorship of the Outlaws being that company is owned by a flow racing investor, the main one.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that until you broke that news. I was just like, Jesus, oh my God.
So is this really is Flow, for instance, like Vince McMahon and the World of Outlaws is Stone Cold and it's this big WWE game, you know?
Maybe so.
Maybe Flow's already purchased Dirt Vision, but since the battle is selling it all, why tell them? They're not obligated to tell us that Flow has purchased Dirt Vision and owns the Outlaws or World Racing Group. You know, apparently Flow has a capital of whatever $100 million, investment, budget, and the World of Outlaws were for sale for $70 million a couple years ago. I don't know if they still are, or World Racing Group was. So, are they on the same team? And we just don't know. It's like politics, you know. They're both owned by the same team.
Yeah, no, that's really shortchanging the drivers if that's true. You know,
right?
Wouldn't you think? You know what I'm saying about the piggyback and the high limit can do. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? You know, I mean, just from the money standpoint, you know,
right?
You get to run Knoxville. You know, Kings Royal's kind of a wash because that's the only one the Outlaws can do. So that's a wash. But you're running High Bank, you're running Knoxville, and you're running National Open, you know. And now what are their big premier events? They have two at Port Royal, the Weikert and then the Tusky. And then they got $100,000 at
Skagit and Gold Cup.
You know, and Gold Cup.
Which they own the track. Surprise, right? So
yeah, isn't that neat? You know, and I've said it before too. Like, if I'm, I guess it's just me, but you know, a guy like Brent Marks, a guy like Justin Peck, that's got to leave a bitter taste in your mouth when Sweet wins. So he's getting his purse money, and then what do you think? He's salary? Or you think he's getting?
I would assume at a minimum.
Yeah.
At a minimum salary.
You know, he's right. Is he getting paychecks or is he salary?
Yeah, is Flo cutting him? Is he in?
Paid.
Yeah. I mean,
that's got to be awesome. You know,
yeah.
Personally, I mean, I've heard, you know, some of the guys in the Outlaws say that, like, hey, how did you run a series racing? You know,
Right.
Gravel always sticks up for him. Well, he's thinking for later in life. I was like, yeah, but it's not later in life right now, man. That guy's double dipping. So is Larson, you know.
Right. And now Flo
So
is
Larson
with Real American Beer.
Yeah.
And
No
who knows
shit.
how deep that goes? I mean, seriously, who knows how deep that goes?
Yep. Yeah,
They ain't telling
I
nobody that.
know.
They're just putting Hulk Hogan's face on it, and
Yeah.
you have no idea.
I didn't until you brought it up. I forget what that was. It was a couple weeks ago when you were talking about that.
Right.
Crazy shit, man. Are you going to Oswego?
I don't know. I want
You
to,
better
but
decide quick,
it's a
man.
hell of a drive. I know.
Oh, it's a haul. Yeah.
Yeah, even from here, you got to go through Detroit, and then that Cornwall. The other race is northern Vermont.
So it's not even in Canada?
It is in Canada, but it's on the Vermont side.
Okay.
Like it's up there. It's 20 hours away.
Jesus.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't blame you if you don't go.
Might be smarter to just lay back and talk about it all right here in the studio. You know, why leave the studio and go?
Yeah, and if you're in Iowa,
kill yourself
you
up and down the road.
Go watch Saturday night. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even go to
Yeah.
Knoxville this last Saturday. I just sat back and watched and talked about stuff after it was over.
Yeah. Yep.
So there was so much going on.
There's going to continue to be so much going on because you got 2 series.
Yeah. This week they're kind of working together, I guess, because it's Wednesday, Thursday, Oshweekend, then Friday, Saturday. They're at Utica, Rome, and Ransomville. High Limit is. And then Outlaws are Sunday at Cornwall. So it's kind of like a week, almost like the Wisconsin. I am looking forward to the Wisconsin swing between the 2 series. That'll be really
it's going to
good.
be interesting to see what, because I mean, as far as the, you know, what would it be? You can basically say the Outlaws have 2, right? Besides the 2 nights at Eldora that they're all going to race.
Yeah.
But yeah, you might see them eat up those 2 in Wisconsin. It's kind of, I don't know when else they have the chance to do it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't think you'll get any of the Outlaws Friday, Saturday, just because you may get some high limit guys go Wednesday,
Well,
Thursday.
you can always get
no,
high
you
limit
couldn't.
guys.
No, you couldn't because they're at Fremont Wednesday, which will be a pretty cool race. We'll see how that goes. But I don't think any of those Outlaw teams want to have to cross back and forth the border. You know,
No, exactly. No,
because they'd have to go.
Yeah,
they'd have to go back across Friday, Saturday, and then come back across for Sunday. I don't think any of them want to do that. It sounds like hell on earth.
I'd have to really look at the schedule. I don't know when they could even eat up those 2 races. It might be either during the Wisconsin times.
Yeah, because pretty much every one of them is going to eat them up at Eldora. That's for sure. 2 of them at least.
Yeah, you're going to eat 2 there, and so you have 2 more. And I mean, Jesus, who did it? I mean, Gravel went to Port last year, and that was 6 hours out of the way. You know.
Yeah, I bet you they got some under the money table somehow, some way from somebody to do that.
Yeah, but yeah, like last year, it was a lot more conducive to eat up those, you know, call it the other 2 races. This year, man, I don't even know when they're going to do it or have the chance to do it.
Somebody just said August 3rd, Capitani. The Capitani is waived. I believe also the Oskaloosa Front Row Challenge is waived.
Yeah.
Those do not count for outlaw drivers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they are.
At least they haven't counted for outlaw drivers. The Capitani never will. I don't know. The Oskaloosa one is the one you could be up in the air, but that obviously if that was a high limit event, it would count. But I don't think that's unsanctioned, isn't it? Pretty sure.
Yeah.
That's a McCarl thing, yeah.
Race. Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, no, I don't think they've ever counted either one of those races.
I think the Oski deal used to be an outlaw race at one point.
Was it? Yeah, I don't know.
Probably 90s or something. I don't know.
Before
maybe not.
Front Row Challenge.
Maybe not. But both are not sanctioned, so that's a deal too.
Yeah. One other thing I wanted to say before I'll let you go,
okay.
But there's been a lot of talk about the formats, right, on both sides. Well, you know, It's not the drivers, you know. That they put up a format, and lo and behold, Brad and Kyle did something different than the Outlaws to try to make it better. Well, great, you know, that they raced in that series. They found something they like better. It's probably more favorable to drivers, makes the racing a little better. I agree with all that. But, you know, a lot of the BS that the Outlaws get, you know, is, you know, oh, the guy had a perfect night. Oh, well, that's the Outlaws, you know. You're only going to win if you have a perfect night, or you got to start up front. Well, that's the format, you know.
Right.
Qualifying is massive, you know. And I just think that's why you see that would be a big step for the Outlaws to just fiddle around with their format a little bit. I mean, definitely make the racing better.
Well,
but people that want to rip on it, like, you know, there's no World Outlaws don't pass, and well, it's the format, you know. If you start off good, unless you're David Gravel and you know you can draw a pill, that guy can't draw a pill to save his life, but you start in the first couple rows of the dash, and yeah, you got a good chance at winning. There's just so much emphasis on qualifying with the Outlaws. High limit, you get kind of a chance, right? You're still going to be in there if you qualify good, but maybe you lay an egg qualifying and you start up front. Well, if you can squeak out and win that heat race, you can also get in the dash. But
right.
formats are what they are. Drivers have to race the format.
Well, I mean, it was widely known before the high limit series that the Outlaws kind of didn't listen to too many people either. You know, as far as suggestions on formats or money or this, that, and the other, you know, there is something to the outlaw arrogance that has caused a lot of these things to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And it's still there. You know, it's still there.
It is. Yeah.
And
yeah,
there's,
I mean, I don't get why they restrict them to racing. Like that doesn't make any freaking sense to me. You know, if an outlaw guy wants to go run, you know, a local race somewhere and they show up and win, well, oh, hey, look, that guy's here. He's an outlaw. You know, it's good for the Outlaws. You know, I have never understood that side of it, but it is a lot of racing to just commit to, you know, whatever their schedule is, even though they lose probably 15 shows a year to weather anyway. But
well, there is certain stipulations where you can request to go to a race outside of an outlaw race, and it doesn't even count against the 4 that, you know, breaks those rules, because the 4 are basically unrestricted.
But if you request a high limit one, they're going to count it.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, they don't want you over there selling flow subscriptions, you know. But for instance, like if you want to run Knoxville, or you want to run Huset's, or you want to run Williams Grove, one of these dirt vision tracks, it doesn't count, you know. On a rain out weekend or something like that, it don't count.
You think that's more of what it is?
It's a stream war. That's where the money's at.
Streaming thing. Yeah.
Yep. A visual rights aspect.
Yeah.
And you can't, you know, obviously Larson's not allowing, or not, I think it's to the point he's not allowing the Outlaws to promote him when he's going to be at a race. And that started at BAPS a few years ago, where they told him to pull down.
Larson.
Well, they've rode his coattails before too. They still kind of do when they can.
Well, yeah, and they were more than happy to have him when he got in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, we'll let you run as much as you want.
Yeah, I think they gave him a 30 days, but it was during COVID, and it's like, okay, that doesn't really equate, but
yeah.
So.
Yep. I mean, I'm not taking away anything from that guy. He's a badass. No matter what he gets in, he's a freaking alien. But he could be beat. It's been proven.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He had a little hot streak this year, but yeah, he can be beaten.
Oh yeah, he can.
And the thing about him is he doesn't give a shit. I don't care if it's high limits, outlaws, wherever. He doesn't care. It's win it or wear it, you know?
Right.
He doesn't give a shit. where, you know, some of those guys are trying to make a living, you know.
Right.
So and that's the same for Bell, you know.
Yeah.
It's the
People
winter to
forget
wear
that.
it,
Yeah.
you know.
They forget that with Bell. Luckily, they're getting to see it a little bit now, but they do forget how good Bell is because he ain't been able to run dirt, you know. So.
Right. But I mean, all those guys, anybody that can do that. I mean, even Ty Gibbs. I mean, I don't know if he's ever even gonna crack the top 10.
Right.
But they don't give a shit.
Right.
Oh shit! Sorry, I tore up your car. I'll write you a check. Get you some new equipment.
Well, for Ty Gibbs, he literally said instead of, you know, going boating, he can ride a car, or it's a good hobby for him to do for fun. So.
Right. Larson just happens to be really good at his hobby, you know.
Right.
You know, it's funner. You know, it's funner than jumping in the taxi cab on Sundays, you know.
Oh God, that's NASCAR. Some of the most boring things to watch. I'd hate to be stuck out there driving it.
Yeah, it's brutal.
But-
Cha-ching, cha-ching. That's what it's about.
Okay.
That's what it's about. Right on, brother. Well, you have yourself a good rest of the night. I appreciate you taking my call.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for beating the spammers.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm sorry you're dealing with that. Jesus.
It is what it is. Comes with the growth.
All right, buddy. Well, Outlaws rule, high limit sucks. We'll see you later.
Alrighty, thanks.
All right.
So good call there from Colorado. Should we keep lines open? It is 1:40. Oh, God, it's already past midnight for some people. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. Colorado with some good takes. Good takes there. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, send the super chats if you enjoyed the show tonight. We kind of stayed a little conservative, but once again, the rules, the watches, I really just don't care. I just don't care. It doesn't really work out in the interest of fairness when you have something that visual. But I mean, if they accept it with Kyle and nobody does anything, they're gonna accept it with Rico, and then you got your wings and your MSD boxes and your crank triggers and your tires and all this stuff. It just doesn't matter. We can only sit here and talk about it so much. If the people that can control it are gonna do it, then they do. But once again, I think there is business decisions happening in the tech-in areas, especially in this highly competitive market of sprint car racing now. At the few stars that we do have, I think there's just business decisions being made, more so than fair ones. So anyways, what happened 2-0? I mean, you may have to rewind it and watch. Obviously, we're not going to rehash the whole show right now. If you would like to get some Chaz merchandise, longlivethechaz.com. Are we going to Canada? People keep asking. I want to. I don't know just yet. We're waiting on some things to come in the mail. If they come in time, we can announce our huge partnership we just developed here recently. And then we can go to Canada. But maybe we'll just sit here and do our shows. Have you ever talked to Caleb? Of course, but summary. So we talked about the Rico Abreu. First of all, the amazing Kokomo High Limit show, the perfect night for sprint car racing. We then talked about the big conspiracy theory and uproar on social media about the smartwatches. And then we went into calls, which took a minute to get to, but we got into them. We had one with the man from PA, and then the one you just heard there from Colorado. So Silver Dollar and Calistoga, Chaz, are you coming to California? I would rather go to Calistoga than the Calistoga race than the Silver Dollar race. Apparently that is, or I believe the Calistoga race is the same weekend as Skagit. So I don't know how that would work out. The only issue there is I think there is a high limit open date. I'm pretty sure there's a high limit open date that high limit may add Calistoga onto the schedule if that race goes good when they reopen Calistoga. So I would be interested in those. I don't know, man. Silver Dollar and me just have bad luck. Every year I go to, last year I got left outside. I had to pay a Uber like $80. I had to deal with Brian Huberts. I had to almost fight this really big guy, and I wasn't backing down. It was very intense. I was in his face. He was in mine. Brad Sweet had to come break it up, believe it or not. Mike Hess was laughing. I don't know. Every time I go to Calistoga Gold Cup, I just have these fucking weird issues. And then, of course, Saturday, I'm hanging out with Chase Johnson randomly, hanging out with him. And then what happens to him happens to him. I don't know. California, it's a great state. People underestimate it, think it's liberal. It's not liberal. It's probably the reddest state in the country. The atmosphere is always extremely exciting there. It's a great show. I just have bad luck, and I got to deal with these fucking fuck boys like Brian Huberts and all them just trying to start shit. Y'all think it's about dealing with their call-ins. Imagine dealing with them in person, like actual people. These are real people who do this stuff. I don't know. It's just a headache. So I don't know about Silver Dollar. I will give credit to Brad. No matter how much shit we've talked, he has allowed us to come in and has put our name on the pit pass list. So I will give him credit there where credit is due. So I will give that to Brad, and we've been in there starting our shit every single year or getting shit started on. And he's still allowed us to come in there and do the things that we do. So I don't know just yet. We'll see. I always seem to end up at the end of the trip. I've always seemed to get some sponsors or get some support or do a show or do a video. We did the Triple X chassis walkthrough video, which was one of our biggest videos of 2024. So, and obviously Broke Joe's out there, and, you know, we can always visit those guys, and Joey Bat's a hell of a good time. And the California scene is relatively fun to be around, but there's a few bad apples in that scene that just ruin that entire state, at least from my experience. But anyway, we'll see. Sorry, Will Willis. It's just into 2 hours. We're trying to keep the show a little shorter than in the past. We're not trying to have a 5-hour conversation here. Trying to keep these around the 2-hour mark so people could watch the shows beginning to end and not, you know, we don't stay up too late to where we're sleepy or drunk or anything like that. And we keep things kind of close and, to reasonable time frames. So that's what we're trying to do right now. It's 11 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock on the East Coast. People do it to go to sleep. They do it to go to work. I actually have a lot of things I need to do before I go to sleep. But thank you for wanting to call in. We would definitely love to have you on. Our next show will probably be after Fremont, so y'all be ready for that. It will be post-race Fremont. I'm trying to get on here by 9 Central Time, 10 Eastern. Obviously, that's not the case, Bent Rim Podcast. I was just at PA last year. I'm not afraid of PA at all, period. Regardless, damn it, well, you ain't going to come to West Coast Nationals then? I don't know. I mean, West Coast Nationals is the best race of the year. I do like the Reno race. I wouldn't be against that. But, yeah, if Brian Huberts and these just trash people are involved, there's a whole world out here to go and do other things. I'd rather go visit Egypt and look at the pyramids than go to be the West Coast Nationals and deal with Brian Huberts of the world. But anyway, we'll see about Osh Weekend. Somebody's predicting Friesen going to win it. We'll see about that. I do believe that it is a high limit versus World of Outlaw night Wednesday, is it not? It is. I think it is. Osh Weekend's first night's Wednesday. Fremont is Wednesday. I know, Dank. I need to stop mentioning his name. He doesn't really carry much interest by anybody, and I keep blaming him. I'm giving him free publicity. Regardless, we'll try to stop from saying his name. We'll just refer it to trash people because that's what he is anyway. From going forward, we'll just say trash people. Don't go look him up. He's not worth knowing. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to the show. Be sure to like and subscribe to the video. Go to the longlivethechaz.com website and get a shirt. I saw the Mad Puerto Rican actually did purchase a shirt. It should be coming in quick. She got a ginger kitty in the sapphire aquatic color, and that is or antique sapphire color. It's a beautiful shirt. Can't wait to see how that looks. You got to send me pictures there of how the Mad Puerto Rican looks like. It'll be interesting to see, but as always, you can go to the streaming services, listen to the songs that you've been hearing here on the show as well. And they're on all of your major streaming platforms. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your support, enjoy your comments and your calls. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, we will have to wait until next time to keep this old thing rolling. Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Catch you next time.
We can ride high, we can ride low. We can ride anywhere we need to go. We can ride all night up to the morning, as long as we make the show. We can be the best, or we can be the worst. We can be the best thing you ever heard. With the motor singing and the grandstands ringing, it's hard to put it all in words. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and handsome. Ain't telling you what's right or wrong, or what to choose. Hey, but this is how we do. This is how we do. Out on the dirt ovals we play, life in the bright lights with no shades. So letting her go, letting her rip, letting her fly, tossing her in sideways, living the life, letting her ride, outside winning to die. Cross her up on the cushion, crossing the line, cause some drama and some bullshit they didn't like. And if they don't like the move, then we're ready to fly. But this is how we ride, this is how we do.